the quarterback gains all the attention. He gets all the blame and gets all the credit. And we know what the deal is, but it is the most important position on the field. You could make an argument offensive line or quarterback, but for one player, there's no question. It's not even close. Okay. But he still is one player and needs support and the support of the defense to not have to score 50 points a game. So do you think he has a good enough team around him to contend for a Pac-12 championship?
No question. I mean, you look at Shane Lee, the linebacker that Lincoln Riley got in the transfer portal from Alabama, and you look at the other various pickups, and of course, he has the skill people. He has Travis Dye from Oregon. He has Mario Williams coming over from Oklahoma. And again, Mario Williams gives him continuity because they already have an established rapport as QB and receiver, pitcher and catcher, if you will. So there are lots of built-in pieces. And, in terms of the defense, I mean, Todd Orlando was an unmitigated disaster for USC last season. You'd now bring in Alex Grinch as defensive coordinator, who, took the mess he inherited from Mike Stoops, and he made it a lot better. Now, some people will say, well, Oklahoma wasn't really a complete product on defense. And you can say that, and I think that's a fair overall analysis to make. But let's remind ourselves that Oklahoma didn't have to have an elite defense to be a playoff caliber Big 12 championship team. It just had to have a solid defense. And Oklahoma definitely had a solid defense. Oklahoma doesn't need to limit opponents to 10, 13 points. It needs to keep opponents under 30. And that's generally what it did. And we should note that in the Bedlam game against Oklahoma State, Oklahoma's defense came up with a number of big plays, and it was the offense that failed to lift the Sooners over the top. And ironically, by losing to Oklahoma State in that Bedlam game, that's what opened the door for Lincoln Riley to go to USC. If he and OU had won that game in Stillwater, USC might not have been able to close the deal with Lincoln Riley. But anyway, the larger point is Alex Grinch has done a very good job with the Oklahoma defense. He's made it a lot better. He didn't make it great, but again, at Oklahoma, you're expected to score 40 points a game, and if the defense is giving up fewer than 30, you're going to win. And that's modern college football. Nick Saban understands this. We remember Alabama beating Florida 52-46 in that SEC championship game. The name of the game is scoring, and the defense just has to limit the opposing offense, to a moderate extent. So I think Caleb Williams has the resources, definitely on offense, to consistently light up Pac-12 defenses. And I think Alex Grinch going up against a Pac-12 where, again, quarterback play hasn't been that great. Alex Grinch should, if he's not holding Pac-12 opponents under 30 points, something's very wrong. Something's going to be very amiss. And I think Alex Grinch should definitely be able to succeed in that relatively modest goal. If USC is giving up 25, 27 points per game, I mean, that's not spectacular, but it should be more than enough to win games with Caleb Williams over there lighting up the scoreboard on offense.
Alex Grinch was also able to take over a Washington State defense that was ranking in the 100s. And even though they recruited slightly better, that really didn't have much of an impact. He basically took the same players and turned 100 ranked defenses in the country to top 30 or 35 defenses at Washington State. So he knows what he's doing.
And he has familiarity with the Pac-12.